All right. Okay. So what I need you to know, guys, is that 2.1 and 2.2 kind of, they work together, but they are significantly different than 2.3 and 2.4. Okay? So you do not need 2.1 or 2.2 to do this particular lesson. Okay? Katie, you're in. You're in. It's all you. You're so excited. We use Sine Law. We use Sine. Hi. Guys. Are you? Yeah. I leave you for 2 days, and this is what happens. So we use sine law and cosine law when we do not have a 90-degree angle. Okay? So sine law when there is no. So when there's no 90-degree angle in the triangle, that's when we'd either use sine law or cosine law. And then you're going to have to make the decision based on the information that you have. Will you use sine law or cosine law?
Is that same?
It's not. They're two different laws.
Sine and cosine are different?
Different laws. So today we're just going to work on sine law. Okay. So you use sine law. Maybe I'll just tell you what sine law is. That's okay. Okay, so we need to talk about labeling a triangle. What do lowercase letters represent? Sides. I'm going to highlight this. So lowercase letters are side lengths. And you can use Google, and if it puts a side lengths on the bottom, that's fine, but all side lengths then have to be on the bottom. Okay, capital letters, what do they represent? Angles. Okay, now you are going to use sine law when you have one matching set. And what I mean by that is I'm running out of highlighters that actually work under this. Use sine law when you have one matching set. So you have the side and its matching angle. So you would use sine law when you already have all the information for one set. So, but we need to talk about sets and how we label triangles. I'm going to pull this off for just 2 seconds. And you can... Okay, there's my triangle. There's no right angle in that. Okay? When I talk about a matching side and angle, so this is angle A, this would be angle K. Sometimes they're labeled inside the triangle if they're capital letters at the vertice, and remember vertice is just corner. Pardon? Who? It is not example 1. I'm just drawing something so you know. Side A is always across from the angle. So side A would be here. And I'm guessing you guys went over this in grade 10? I know some of you did because you were in my class. And I do go over this. So side K is going to be across from angle K. So my capital K's and my lowercase k's look exactly the same. I'll work on that. And S is going to be directly across from it. So it's really important that you know where your sides are for the matching set. So I would need that piece of information fully known. Like I would have to know the angle and the side length. If I know a matching set, then I'm going to use sine law. So because you're going to ask me this question once we learn cosine law, when do I use either one? If I have all the information for a matching set, then I'm going to use sine law. Okay, going back to the formula, see how I have 3 of them? Because how many sides do I have of a triangle? I have 3 matching sets, right? You only need to use 2 of them. You don't need to use all 3. You only need to use 2. So maybe I'll use like the A set and the B set. Maybe I'll use the A and C. Do you guys remember how much interior angles add up to in a triangle?
180.
180, smart people. You're gonna need that piece of information in your back pocket. Okay, here we go. From Kelly's house to her friend's cabin is 1.8 kilometers. So where are we gonna label that on the triangle? On the left-hand side, right?
Can we name them ABC?
You can if you want to, if that helps you. Kelly wants to know the distance from her house to the store on the edge of town. So what side do I want to know?
A.
The bottom or the right-hand side?
Bottom.
I want to know the bottom. So I'm going to label that with, well, maybe I'll label that with an F. Because this will be Kelly's house, this will be the friend's cabin, and that'll be the store. Okay. So, do I have a full set of information? I don't. Well, I do if I do some math.
You find the C angle.
I'm going to find the S angle or whatever you want to call it.
Store.
I'm calling it the store angle. And so my first step is find angle S. That's the symbol for angle, and it's actually a straight line like your initial arm. I always make it like an inequality, but it's your initial arm to your terminal arm. Angle S is equal to 180 minus 88 minus 66. So I'm going to do that math. 180 minus... Did you figure out some amazing math? Okay. So that's 26. So angle S is 26. So sometimes I need to do some basic math to get my known set. My full set, sorry. So would you guys agree that we now have a full set of information? Yes. Okay, now the second question is, so I'm going to start that. That's going to be my first fraction that I set up. So side on top, so 1.8 over sine of 26 degrees. Everybody okay with that? No, sorry, that should be up here. My set is this angle and that side. Okay, so what do I need to find? What is the question asking me? F. So I have part of this set. So I need to use this piece of information. I don't know F, so I'm going to leave it as the letter. And I know that the angle that matches F is 88 degrees. Okay, mathematically speaking, how would I tackle this? Pardon?
Times both sides by sine of 88.
Okay, times both sides by sine of 88. You guys have done a million of these. And so we know that those two things will cancel each other out. So I'm left with F on this side. And now I got to do that math. I would suggest that you do it all in your calculator. I wouldn't show me what sine of 88 degrees looks like as a decimal, unless you want to write that out, if that makes sense to you. So in my calculator, I'm going to do sine of 88. I'm going to close the brackets. I'm timesing by 1.8. Okay? I can either hit enter now, or I can go right into my divide. I'm going to hit enter just to get that decimal. And then I'm going to go divide by sine of 26, close that bracket, and it's going to give me 4.10. Okay. Now my question is, am I done? Probably not. I love it. I love how sad you sound. Probably not. The only thing I'm missing is units here. So what are my units in?
Kilometers.
Kilometers.
So I was done.
So the distance from my house, Kelly's house, to the store is 4.10 kilometers. Ooh, what? What's your question, Rory? No? Okay, you good? All right, pretty straightforward, nice and easy. I always, and the more you guys do things, like you practice it the same way every time, it becomes muscle memory. I always start with the fully known fraction first, and then I find the information that I need.
This is like one law in physics, but I forgot which one. This is one law in physics.
Okay.
R.
Our
Index of official fraction equals sine of something divided by something. I know this law.
Okay. You probably know cosine law.
No.
Okay, I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably the way I'm going to give you most triangle questions. The reason why is because drawing a triangle digitally is very difficult. So I'm going to give you all this information and you're going to put it together. Some of you won't need to draw the picture. I need to draw the picture every time. It's totally up to you what you want to do. So let's look at the symbols here. What does that symbol mean? That is delta, usually means difference, but in this case it's just a triangle. So it's saying triangle PQR. They're all in capital letters, so my vertices are PQR. So my corners, my pointy parts on the triangle are labeled PQR. So again, I'm just drawing a random triangle. Things are going to get much more complicated on Friday when we do ambiguous cases. You'll have to draw a triangle in a very specific way. But today we're just willy-nilly drawing triangles. Okay, what is angle P? 36. Because there's a symbol, your initial arm to your terminal arm. Angle P is 36 degrees. Gives it away with a degree symbol. Side P is 24.8 meters. So side P is going to be directly across from angle P. So this one's going to be 24.8 meters. Side Q is going to be 23.4 meters. So there's my angle Q, which I don't know. And the question's asking me to solve for angle R. And of course, nothing we do is straightforward. I know that I have a fully matching set right here. That's my fully matching set. So I know I can use that, but I need angle R. The trouble is I have no information about angle R. I don't know the angle and I don't know the side. So I can't, that's too many variables left in the second fraction. So I'm going to find angle Q first. And if I know two angles, what am I going to do?
You don't know two angles, do you?
I will. I'm going to find angle Q. So I'm going to start by setting up the ratio I know. Side on top. And I'm going to do Q first. So I'm doing this because I know one piece of information about Q. I know the side is, is 23.4, and I don't know what the angle is, so I'm just going to use it as letter Q. You could use theta here if you want to, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so this one looks a little bit uglier. Not as exciting, but not too terrible. I want to get sine Q off the bottom, so I'm going to times both sides by sine Q. Oh, sine Q. So those are gone. So I have 23.4 equals 24.8. Sine Q. I just changed them just so we could see them. I want to get sine Q by itself. I want to isolate sine Q. How do I get rid of this divide by sine 36? Multiply. This is just algebra. So those are gone. And now there's a multiply by 24.8. So how do I get rid of a multiply? Divide. Oh, look at that. All I did was multiply by the reciprocal. It's just a quick way to do it if you remember that way. I got sine Q by itself.
But it's so much work to get there.
It's really not. You're multiplying each side by the reciprocal of that fraction.
Yeah.
We just did it in multiple steps.
Oh.
You can do it faster by multiplying by the reciprocal. One step is all it took. All right, so here we go. We have to do this math. So again, in my handy dandy calculator, I'm going to go 23.4 times sine of 36. I'm going to close my bracket. I'm going to divide by 24.8. And I'm going to get this decimal. And I need all the decimal places, because this is not my answer. We only round in our answers. So do you guys remember how to solve for an angle using your handy dandy calculator?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went over this. How do we do that? Second function, right? We're going to do second function sine or shift, depending on what your calculator is. I'm going to pull the answer from the previous line, so I'm going to go second function answer. And you see that that just pops up on my screen there. And then I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to have Q is equal to 33 point, we'll round to one decimal place, 33.7, and it is in units of measure, which is degrees. Did I answer the question? No. Still no. So we know that this angle is 33.7 degrees. So how am I going to find angle R?
Subtract everything but 180.
Yep. So angle R is equal to 180 minus the 33.7 minus 36. And I only ever put my degree symbols in my answer. Okay, and that's it. Easy peasy. It's going to get a little bit more complicated on Friday, but we're smart people.
How many decimal places do we have to go?
It usually indicates if it doesn't go 2. 2 is kind of like the default.